Hey my fellow gamers, the Not So Technical Gamer here with another video. This time I want to talk to you about my recent 5070 Ti upgrade from a RX 7800 XT. I will be sharing my insights on my purchasing decision, where I have been with AMD, and how the experience is so far. The brand choice being Inno3D, and the learning curve moving from AMD to NVIDIA. I'll also showcase some gameplay to give you an idea on how my Inno3D 5070 Ti is performing. So I have been in the market for quite some time since I sold my RX 7800 XT almost 2 months ago, and I have mainly been playing on my PS5 Pro. I was mulling moving all my gaming to the console space to make it less hectic, less complicated, and everything in between. But the nerd in me fought hard and won. So here we are. One of the main reasons is also Battlefield 6 being a blurry mess at performance mode, even on the PS5 Pro. It's not a fun experience, at least for me. Also, GPU prices had come down the past few months here in the Philippines, where for me it became viable and something that really piqued my interest. I was torn among three GPUs: the 5080, the 5070 Ti, and the 9070 XT. At the beginning, I was leaning strongly to the 9070 XT. If only it was more affordable than it was, or at least offered more VRAM, but unfortunately it wasn't. So it was the first one to go. Although I am aware of how good it was reviewed by all reputable channels here on YouTube. Also, FSR4 having not been fully implemented with the RX 7000 series is what made me consider NVIDIA. I know there are a lot of hacks, guides on how to do it with previous generation cards, but I don't want to be bothered too much in doing that because the results are mostly hit or miss. By the way, to give more context, here's a comparison of the three cards. So from the comparison table, it is pretty evident that even the most affordable 5080 had an awful price to performance ratio, and the 5070 Ti is the best compromise among the three cards. 11% price difference for 21% better ray tracing performance against the 9070 XT, which in my estimate would be playing a huge role in future games. And that performance gap of 18% from the 5080 can be shrunk by overclocking, which I have been doing with this 5070 Ti. And this card from Inno3D is a beast on that. I'll show my tweak later. Side note on the impending releases of the 50 series Super, I cannot find any concrete evidence that it's coming within the year, and I cannot wait any longer as Battlefield 6 will be out in a few days. Okay, why Inno3D? Inno3D is a brand that has been in the market, especially here in Asia, Philippines, for quite some time now. My first GeForce cards were actually from Inno3D. If I'm not mistaken, it was a GeForce 2 MX400 back when AGP was the norm. We also owned a PC gaming cafe in the Philippines in the early 2000s, and Inno3D was a pretty popular choice as it was affordable. We had a lot of GPUs from Inno3D actually, from GeForce 2, GeForce 4, a number of GeForce FX cards from the 5200 up to the 5700. Even my very first personal gaming rig had an iChill 9600 GT back in the day. Now, circle back to 2025, an opportunity came to get a 5070 Ti, and Inno3D got the best offer of around 49,650 pesos, or $857. The next variant in line is the Palette GeForce RTX 5070 Ti Gaming Pro-S, which goes for 50,895 pesos or $879. Personally, I do not care about the aesthetics of my gaming rig as I am more about performance, so the Inno3D is an easy choice. Going Team Green was really a culture shock. I have had my 7800 XT since December 2023, and I am pretty much familiar with the workflow of optimizing the GPU because everything is inside the Radeon Adrenalin software, from overclocking and toggling GPU driver level settings. NVIDIA has some of its settings inside the NVIDIA app, and a lot of the advanced tweaks are still inside the NVIDIA control panel. Uh, well, I had to use MSI Afterburner and Riva Tuner Statistics Server to fully customize my settings with the 5070 Ti. Once done with the installation, I did my usual checks. I ran 3D Mark Time Spy, and everything was stable. Battlefield 6 is one of the factors for the upgrade, but unfortunately, as of the making of this video, the game is not out yet, so I had to revert to Battlefield 2042. The first striking difference is how amazing DLSS looks in this game. With my 7800 XT, to keep the FPS more consistent, I had to revert to using the driver level upscaler called Radeon Super Resolution, which is basically FSR1, a spatial upscaler, where you have to set the resolution to a lower than native one and let the driver upscale it. Also, one of the reasons why I had to use RSR is to tame down the power consumption to less than 200 watts with the 7800 XT. Running it on DLSS performance clearly blew me away. Textures are sharper and the game pretty much looked more stunning than it did. It's such a shame 2042 never got official FSR support, as it really needed that. Power consumption and temperature is rightfully where I want it to be, and I couldn't be happier. Although being away from 2042 for almost 2 months really shows in the gameplay. It took a while before I got to a positive KDR. Outside of power consumption and temperature, there's also a massive improvement in fan noise. This card really is almost quiet, even at 100% fan speed. So when I did the test, I had to manually set it to 100% to ensure tip-top performance throughout the benchmark run. But moving forward, I think I will be setting it to 90%. I'll be showing some gameplays and performance runs to share what you can expect with the card. And by the way, like what my channel name suggests, I am not technical in any way, so don't expect any deep dive into pixel counts, 1080p testing, and so on. My main goal here is to share how fun the experience is. Whatever happens, it needs to be fun. Okay, so here's a snapshot of my rig's specification. So I have a 7800 X3D, the 5070 Ti, MSI Mag X670E, a Kingston Fury DDR5 6000 CL36, Corsair MP600, and my monitor is an LG C242 OLED. Overclocking the 5070 Ti is pretty much straightforward. Fire up Afterburner, set a 300 MHz core clock, and a plus 375 megahertz memory clock, and you're good to go. At least in my case, it is very stable and is running very cool too. I have never experienced any crash for the past 2 days that I have been using the card, even with the OC settings that I put in. Okay, so here's my methodology. I don't want it to be overly complicated and technical. I will be running the games at raw max settings to give you an idea on how it performs. And then after that, I will be sharing one or two more game configurations targeting 4K 60 or 4K 120. These two performance targets are what I'm comfortable with and are a good compromise between visual fidelity and frames per second. Take note, games that ran with the overclock 5070 Ti. I will be skipping 4K 60 in games where we have a lot of headroom to do 4K 120. So take note of that.
Far did that portkey take us?
Farther from London than the carriage travelled. We're somewhere in the Scottish Highlands.
Sir,
If you made it to this part of the video, I appreciate you. This video took a lot of work, especially as this is my very first long video here on YouTube. Again, I appreciate you. Okay, so what do we have here? The 5070 Ti is ray tracing capable, especially for 4K 60 FPS gaming. Some games I did not bother doing a 4K 60 FPS showcase, as 4K 120 is very much achievable with close to maxed out configurations. But keep in mind, my GPU is overclocked, so take away 5 to 10% performance difference if you're planning to run it on stock settings. Overall, I'm very happy with my purchase. Like what I mentioned in my previous segment, the fun part is most important. If it's fun, it's going to make you happy, and there's no need to make things uber technical or complicated. This 5070 Ti will allow me to go through my backlogs throughout the years and make one happy gamer, non-technical and all. And if you're in the lookout for a new GPU and a 5070 Ti is within your budget, I'd say go for it. Yeah, so that's it for today. Thank you for watching my video. Hit like and subscribe. I have more video ideas to share with you, especially with gaming accessories and peripherals. So please watch out for that. Thank you and goodbye.